Hi, everybody. Ian Bremmer here, and a quick take on Elon Musk, who is now stepping down formally from his position running Doge. Now, this is not a shock. It is a special government employee, which meant that only 130 days in a 1 year period. He could do it every year going forward, but that is not the plan. And so instead, Doge continues. But he is out and he's going to spend a lot more time working on his companies. I think this is, generally speaking, good news, certainly for the companies. I mean, you think about where Elon is a once in a generation entrepreneur in the United States and globally, driving, I mean, the private space industry far more effectively than, say, Bezos has been, electric car industry in a way that nobody else had been able to in the United States, AI, other areas, you name it, six big and diverse companies, and certainly much more capable there than in the political space. And he's in a move fast and break things kind of guy. And the US government is pretty much the opposite of moving fast and breaking things. It is moving slow and generally stopping you from breaking things, no matter who your president happens to be. And Elon came in early with we're going to have $2 trillion of savings, and then $1 trillion of savings, and then maybe a couple $100 billion of savings, and it's a lot harder than we thought. Has managed to shut down most of USAID, and that is where you're seeing significant rescissions that the White House is going to propose to Congress in the coming week. About 8 billion plus of the 9.4 billion they're putting forward is USAID. There's also been a lot of people in the US government that are leaving and leaving early, precisely because DOGE has focused on getting them out and reducing a bloated US civil service. That has been the extent of the significant moves that DOGE has made so far. There's been lots of discussion of fraud, but very little evidence of actual fraud in the administration to date, in the government to date. And unless we see it, talking about it is not going to get you there. And most of the significant efforts to cut money from other parts of the government have largely been prevented or crawl back by agency heads who have gotten DOGE employees to now work inside their departments, reporting directly to them, as opposed to an outside overseer of DOGE. So impact of DOGE turns out to be one of the less successful experiments of the administration. My hope had been that they would actually deploy AI much more effectively to identify where regulations were really inefficient and were duplicative across the government. I suspect there'll be less focus on that with Elon out, but maybe that's something that good technologists, if they have them and they keep them, will be able to do, something governments around the world really need. Leaving that aside, the fact that Musk will play less of a role is probably helpful for Trump and the Republicans in the midterms, because he was unusually unpopular among American voters, certainly compared to Trump. And given his outsized role, both in and out of the government, but also private sector at the same time, the fact that he owns all these companies, but also was taking official meetings, and what's the conflict of interest there? It's obviously massive, and doesn't help with the sort of concerns of kleptocracy, self-dealing, corruption, even deep state, of those that are critical of the U.S. government. Trump no longer aligning with that as closely is, on balance, helpful to him. And secondarily, but also real important, having having Elon's brain back and attached to all those companies that are making a real difference and were underperforming while he's running them, but spending most of his time in the White House and in Mar-a-Lago. Certainly not good for governance. Those boards have been very concerned about that and wanted Musk back, focusing on shareholder returns, focusing on the companies, and that's now exactly what he's going to be doing, at least until the next thing that catches his fancy. So that's where we are with Elon. It was, in a sense, the biggest surprise in the early 100 days of the Trump administration, but one that now moves a bit back towards more normalcy. And on balance, I say that's a welcome thing. That's it for me, and I'll talk to you all real soon.